Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, SOCA. Diploma in Early Childhood Care and Education, DECE, English. DECE 2 Child Health and Nutrition, Revised. Block 1 Introduction to Nutrition and Health. Unit 3 Indicators of Health, 3.1 Introduction. You have read about the concept of health in Unit 2 of this block. Health is no more interpreted in terms of presence or absence of disease in an individual, rather it includes the physical, social and mental well-being. The physical component of health is taken care of by medical care and nutritious diet. You have already read about the meaning of nutrition in Unit 1 of this block. The social and mental component of health is a consequence of interaction with our environment, i.e. family, neighborhood and society. But the state of health of a person or a community will be interpreted in different ways by different individuals. So, to give an objective shape to the assessment of various components of health, we have to measure them. These measurements indicate the health status of an individual or a community depending upon the applicability and are known as indicators of health. We will discuss more about these indicators further in this unit. Objectives. After studying this unit, you should be able to enumerate some health indicators, describe the health situation in India, explain the important components of the National Health Policy, outline the healthcare delivery system in India. 3.2 Indicators of Health. Indicators are only an indication of a given situation or a reflection of that situation. Per se, indicators of health are regarded as variables that help to measure the changes in the health status. For instance, when we say that the number of deaths in a particular village in years 2000 and 2010 was 15 and 20 respectively, it conveys that more deaths took place in 2010. But if we measure this event, death, as an indicator of health status in terms of death rate, we may find that actually death rate has decreased over time. To understand this better, let us continue with the above example. In 2000, 15 deaths were reported from a particular village with a population of 3,000. Due to expansion of the neighboring township, the population of the village increased. In 2010, when 20 deaths were reported, the population was 5,000. So if we measure death as a rate, then the death rate has actually declined. It would be ideal if we could have a single indicator which could tell us about the health of an individual. However, that is not possible, as you already know that health itself is multidimensional. Therefore, we need to measure the various dimensions of health to arrive at an assessment of health. Some of the commonly used indicators are classified below. Mortality indicators, morbidity indicators, disability rates, nutritional status indicators, healthcare delivery indicators, utilization rates, indicators of social and mental health, environmental indicators, indicators of quality of life, health policy indicators, socioeconomic indicators. Let us now take a look at some of the indicators of health individually. 3.2.1 Mortality indicators. These indicate the rates of deaths in various age groups of the population. They also point out the various reasons for death. Some of them are discussed below. A. Crude death rate, CDR. Crude death rate is defined as the number of deaths in a year per 1,000 population. It indicates the rate at which people are dying. Though ideally health should not be measured in terms of number of deaths. This indicator is useful. This may be the only information available about the health status of people, particularly in developing countries, i.e. this may be the only health indicator available. B. Infant mortality rate, IMR. Infant mortality rate, IMR, refers to the number of deaths of infants, below 1 year of age, in a year per 1,000 live births. It is one of the most accepted indicators of the health status of a society. It is an indication of the socio-economic conditions prevailing in the community as well as availability of health services. C. Under 5 mortality rate, U5MR. Under 5 mortality rate, U5MR, is the probability of a child born in a specified year or period dying before reaching the age of 5 years, if subject to age-specific mortality rates of that period, expressed per 1,000 live births. This reflects both the infant and child mortality rates. This is considered a better indicator than IMR, and is nowadays used by many international agencies. D. Maternal mortality ratio, MMR. Maternal mortality ratio, MMR, is defined as the annual number of maternal deaths per 1,000,000 live births from any cause related to or aggravated by pregnancy or its management. It reflects the health status of women in a society. Maternal mortality or death of women due to reasons associated with pregnancy and childbirth accounts for the maximum proportion of deaths among women of the reproductive age in most of the developing countries. The figures are very high in developing countries including India in comparison to developed countries where they are close to zero. A. Disease-specific mortality. Dash dot. This indicator tells us about the number of people dying as a result of specific diseases such as heart problem or cancer etc. F. Life expectancy at birth. Life expectancy at birth may be defined as the average number of years that will be lived by those born into a population if the current age-specific mortality rates of the population persist. It is usually estimated for both the sexes separately. An increase in the expectation of life at birth implies an improvement in the health status of the population. It is a good indicator of socioeconomic development in general. Since it tells us about long-term survival, we can consider it as a positive health indicator. 3.2.2 Morbidity indicators. Mortality indicators do not tell us anything about the prevalence of ill health in a community, for example the prevalence of arthritis, goiter or mental illness. Morbidity refers to ill health. Morbidity indicators supplement the mortality data in describing the health status of a population. You will agree that it is not enough to know how many persons are dying due to diseases but also how many are suffering from various illnesses to describe the health status of a community. The several ways in which we can measure this is by finding out how many new cases of a disease occur during a time period, the number of persons attending a health center or outpatient department of a hospital or even absence from work or school. 3.2.3 Disability rates. When we say that a person is healthy, it implies that she is able to perform her full range of activities. When she falls ill, some physiological or psychological problem occurs which in turn limits some of her normal activities. In other words, the person is called disabled and the phenomenon is called disability. It is increasingly felt that we should be able to predict how many years of life we can have free of disability. For this purpose an index called Sullivan's Index has been designed which is considered as one of the advanced health indicators. 3.2.4 Nutritional status indicators. You learned about nutritional status as the foundation of good health in Unit 1. The important nutritional status indicators used for assessment of health are A. The measurement of weight for age, height for age and mid-arm circumference of preschool children. A low weight for age is indicative of more current malnutrition while height deficit is associated with chronic long-term deprivation. B. Prevalence of low birth weight. All babies born with weight below 2,500 grams are termed low birth weight, LBW, babies. The higher the proportion of such babies in our country, the lower the nutritional status of mothers. 3.2.5 Healthcare delivery indicators. In the healthcare delivery system, three different factors are involved: health manpower, health infrastructure and the population. So different indicators can be formulated by making different combinations of constituents of these categories, for instance doctor-population ratio, doctor-nurse ratio, population per health center, population per hospital bed, population per trained birth attendant etc. The above indicators not only highlight the accessibility of health services but also the equity of distribution of health resources to rural, urban and tribal parts of the country. 3.2.6 Utilization rates. Availability of health infrastructure and of health manpower does not guarantee utilization of the same. The facilities get utilized only if they are accessible and acceptable to the people. Health awareness of people as well as socio-cultural factors play an important role. Utilization of services, that is their actual coverage, is usually expressed in terms of the proportion of people in need of a service who actually receive it in a given period, usually a year. A few examples of utilization rates are: proportion of children who have full immunization coverage, the proportion of pregnant women who receive antenatal care and the percentage of beds occupied by patients. 3.2.7 Indicators of social and mental health. In the absence of valid and reliable positive indicators of social and mental health, it becomes necessary to use measures that indicate the absence of these aspects of health, viz. Indicators of social and mental pathology. The events indicating social and mental pathology are suicide, homicide, juvenile delinquency, alcohol and drug abuse, road traffic accidents, smoking etc. Phenomena like family violence, battered baby and battered wife syndromes also belong to this category. The prevalence of these in the society may be taken to indicate the status of social and mental health of the population. They can provide a guide to social action for improving the health of the population. 3.2.8 Indicators of quality of life. With the increase in survival rates, the emphasis is on quality of life. As is evident, quality of life is difficult to define and measure. Various indicators are being developed by experts to measure this aspect. The most common indicator in use is the Physical Quality of Life Index, PQLI. It takes three factors into consideration, i.e. infant mortality rate, life expectancy at the age of 1 year, and literacy rate. PQLI is measured against a scale of 0 to 100. The ultimate objective of every country is to attain a PQLI of 100. Efforts are being made to develop other indicators and a more comprehensive index to measure the quality of life. 3.2.9 Socio-economic indicators. Various socio-economic indicators like food availability, housing, adult literacy, female literacy, socio-economic status of family, per capita income, rate of population increase etc. govern the health status of a society indirectly. Though the weightage assigned to these variables by different societies may differ, they have a considerable influence on the health status of a society. The other indicators of health include environmental indicators and health policy indicators. The most useful environmental indicator is the percentage of households with safe drinking water facility and appropriate sanitation. The single most important indicator of health policy is the allocation of adequate resources to the health sector. Apart from per capita GNP, literacy rates, especially female literacy rates, are emerging as an important factor affecting the health of people. 3.3 Health situation in India. Let us now, using some of the indicators you have just studied, assess the health situation in India by examining the demographic profile, the mortality profile, the morbidity profile and the availability of healthcare facilities and personnel. 3.3.1 Demographic profile. India is the second most populous country in the world. Presently the birth rate exceeds the death rate even though both the rates are showing a decreasing trend. In fact, the birth rate is not decreasing as much as the death rate. Hence the population continues to expand. Also the percentage of children, 0 to 14 years, is very high in our country compared to other developed countries. It is 35.3% of total population, Census India, 2011. However, the proportion of the productive workforce, people in the age group 15 years to 64 years, is relatively lower. Given the right inputs in the nutrition, health and education sector, India will emerge as a powerful nation in the years to come because of this demographic asset of high percentage of child population. 3.3.2 Mortality profile. The mortality profile of India has undergone a sea change over the last few decades. With the goal of Health for All by 2000 AD, and emphasis on maternal and child health, MCH, care, there is a decline in childhood mortality and morbidity, especially the infant mortality rate. The infant mortality rate has come down to 44 in 2011 with Kerala showing the lowest figure of 12, Census of India, 2011. The life expectancy at birth has also shown a progressive increase over the years with the current figures for the year 2016 of 67.09 years for males and 70.1 years for females, World Bank, 2019. Death in childhood due to diseases like diarrhea, measles and neonatal tetanus has shown a considerable decline. 3.3.3 Morbidity profile. The increase in life expectancy in India has led to an increasing burden of chronic diseases and aging of the population. Though some of the communicable diseases like smallpox and poliomyelitis have been controlled, tuberculosis, HIV, AIDS, diarrhea, malaria and other vector-borne diseases continue their contribution to the total disease burden of the population. The chronic or non-communicable diseases account for more than half of all the deaths. Diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, stroke and chronic lung diseases have emerged as major public health problems due to an aging population and changes in lifestyle. 3.3.4 Healthcare facilities and personnel. There was a virtual absence of basic health services for a large section of people in India at the time of independence in 1947. After the Bohr Committee recommendations, the primary health centers and sub-centers were set up in a systematic way from 1952. Following the acceptance of the goal, Health for All by 2000 AD, in 1978, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare formulated the National Health Policy in 1983 and the health infrastructure expanded tremendously to fulfill the objectives. Presently, the primary health center forms the nucleus of health services in rural India. The details of the health infrastructure and referral services are discussed later in the unit. Besides the primary healthcare delivery system, the public sector also has a number of schemes to provide healthcare to its employees. These schemes are Central Government Health Scheme, CGHS, Employees State Insurance Scheme, ESIS, etc. Though the health manpower availability in India is better than in most of the developing nations, it is still a long way behind the developed countries. According to the National Health Profile of India, 2018, there are about 10.4 lakh registered doctors in allopathic system, 7.73 lakh Ayush doctors, practitioners belonging to traditional systems like Ayurvedic medicine, Unani medicine, homeopathy and so on, and about 2.5 lakh dental surgeons, up to December 2017. Also, there are 19.8 lakh registered nurses and registered midwives, 8.4 lakh trained auxiliary nurse midwives, ANM, and around 56,000 lady health visitors, LHV, as of 2016. As of December 2017, there are 476 medical colleges, 3,215 institutes for training of general nurse midwives, 1853 for training ANMs, and 777 colleges of pharmacy. By 2017, the number of PHCs, CHCs and subcenters in India were 25,650, 5,629 and about 1.56 lakh respectively. National Health Profile, 2018. 3.4 Healthcare Services. Concepts. Assessment of the health situation and the healthcare needs of the population and setting of health-related targets essentially brings us to delivery of healthcare services. So how do we deliver healthcare services to our people? But before we come to studying how healthcare services are made available to the people in our country, we need to understand some basic concepts that have a bearing on the healthcare delivery infrastructure. In this section, we will begin by looking at the levels of healthcare, get acquainted with the health team concept, appreciate the implications of the goal of Health for All by 2000 AD, and understand the meaning of primary healthcare. 3.4.1 Levels of healthcare. Healthcare services are usually organized at three levels: primary, secondary and tertiary. At each level, the patient, if need be, is referred to the higher level. Let us look more closely at each level of healthcare. I. Primary care level. It is the first level of contact between the individual and the health system where essential services are provided. This level of care is closest to the people. In the Indian system, it is represented by the sub-center and the primary health center, PHC. A majority of prevailing health problems can be satisfactorily dealt with at this level. Preventive and emergency health services are provided here. Secondary care level. This level provides curative services and specialized facilities for complex problems. Community health centers, CHC, and district hospitals are included in this category. This level serves as the first referral level in the health system. Tertiary care level. This level offers super specialized health services, provided by regional, central level institutions. These centers also provide planning and managerial skills and teaching to the specialized staff. Medical colleges and all India institutions fall in this category. The tertiary level supports and complements the actions carried out at the primary level. You will read more about the primary and secondary care levels in section 3.6. 3.4.2 Health Team Concept. It is recognized that the physician is overworked today and a substantial amount of his work can be done by auxiliaries, given suitable training. An auxiliary worker is defined as one who has less than full professional qualifications in a particular field and is supervised by a professional worker. The practice of modern medicine has become a joint effort of many groups of workers. Both medical and non-medical, i.e. physicians, nurses, social workers, health assistants, village health guides, trained days, also called skilled birth attendants, etc. So the health personnel have to work as a team to deliver the goods. A health team is defined as a group of persons who share a common health goal and common objectives, determined by community needs and toward the achievement of which each member of the team contributes in accordance with his, her competence and skills and respecting the functions of others. 3.4.3 Health for All. The World Health Assembly, held in Alma Ata in May 1977, decided that the main social goal of governments and WHO in the coming years should be the attainment by all the people of the world by the year 2000 AD of a level of health that will permit them to lead a socially and economically productive life. This goal has come to be popularly known as Health for All by 2000 AD, HFA. The Government of India became a signatory to the HFA Declaration in 1978. The essential principle of HFA is equity in health. This is not only in terms of accessibility of healthcare services, but is also a parallel approach to socio-economic development. Health for All has been described as a revolutionary concept and a historic movement. 3.4.4 Primary Healthcare. The Alma Ata Declaration visualized primary healthcare as the nucleus of the country's health system to make essential healthcare universally accessible. What is primary healthcare? According to the declaration, primary healthcare is essential healthcare based on practical, scientifically sound and socially acceptable methods and technology made universally accessible to individuals and families in the community through their full participation and at a cost that the community in the country can afford to maintain at every stage of their development in the spirit of self-reliance and self-determination. Primary healthcare stands on four pillars, i.e. community participation, intersectoral coordination, appropriate technology and equitable distribution. It is based on the principle of self-reliance, which can be called placing people's health in people's hands. The Declaration of Almar Allah states that primary healthcare comprises providing promotive, preventive, curative and rehabilitative services and includes at least the following: education about prevailing health problems and methods of preventing and controlling them, promotion of food supply and proper nutrition, adequate supply of safe water and basic sanitation, maternal and child health care, and family planning, immunization against the major infectious diseases, prevention and control of endemic diseases, appropriate treatment of common diseases and injuries, and provision of essential drugs. 3.5 National Health Policy. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare evolved a National Health Policy (NHP) in 1982, keeping in view the national commitment for attaining the goal of health for all by 2000 AD. The policy was approved in 1983. Over the years, the health scene of the country changed and new challenges could not be addressed within the framework of the policy. It was revised and NHP 2002 was launched. This policy aimed to achieve an acceptable standard of good health among the general population of the country and had set goals to be achieved by year 2015. This policy envisaged a more equitable access to health services for everyone, and focused on preventive and first-line curative initiatives at the primary healthcare level. The major diseases which contributed to the disease burden, such as tuberculosis, malaria, HIV, AIDS, were the primary focus. It also emphasized the rational use of drugs within the allopathic system. The policy laid down specific goals to be achieved by year 2005, 2007, 2010 and 2015 in order to achieve these objectives. Gaps in health status of different sections of the population continue to widen despite the advances in medical care, technology and economy of the country. Many significant changes in the health sector led to the revision of this policy, and a new National Health Policy 2017 has evolved. This policy, which aims at providing healthcare in an assured manner to all, will address current and emerging challenges arising from the ever-changing socio-economic, technological and epidemiological scenarios. Some key highlights are: to shift the focus from sick care to wellness by promoting prevention and well-being; to gradually increase public health expenditure to 2.5% of the gross domestic product (GDP); to strengthen health systems by ensuring everyone has access to quality health services and technology despite financial barriers. The policy proposes increasing access, improving quality and reducing costs. It proposes free drugs, free diagnostics and free emergency and essential healthcare services in public hospitals. In order to focus on primary healthcare, the policy advocates allocating 2/3 or more of resources to primary care. It proposes 2 beds per 1,000 of the population to enable access to health services within the golden hour, the first 60 minutes after a traumatic injury. To reduce morbidity and preventable mortality of non-communicable diseases, NCDs, by advocating pre-screening. The policy also lists quantitative targets regarding life expectancy, mortality and reduction of disease prevalence in line with the objectives of the policy. Key targets: increase life expectancy at birth from 67.5 to 70 by 2025. Reduce infant mortality rate to 28 by 2019. Reduce under 5 mortality to 23 by 2025. 3.6 Healthcare delivery system in our country. Though primary healthcare is a new concept for the rest of the world, it is not new for India. The health infrastructure of India was visualized on the basis of this very concept in a modified form in the Bohr Committee report of 1946. The present healthcare delivery system in our country is based on the recommendations of this report. Healthcare delivery system is different in rural and urban areas. The organized network of health services is well established in rural India and operational for some time. It is not so noticeable in the urban setup. 3.6.1 Rural Health Delivery System. At the grassroots, every village or a population of 1,000 has one village health guide who acts as a link between the health services and the people. The village health guide is expected to assist health personnel in preventive and promotive services and in providing simple curative care. There is also a skilled birth attendant, SBA. In the areas where ICDA's program is going on, one Anganwadi worker, or, is also appointed for every 1,000 population. And now there is an ASHA, accredited social health activist, for every village who will work with the or. The female health worker is called auxiliary nurse midwife, ANM, and the male is multipurpose worker. Sub-centers. The first point of contact between healthcare system and the community happens at sub-centers. There is one sub-center for every 5,000 population in general areas and one sub-center for 3,000 population in difficult, tribal and hilly areas. Sub-centers provide preventive and promotive services as well as few curative health services. The health sub-center is staffed by one male and one female. They are grassroots-level workers who form the backbone of the health service infrastructure. They provide a comprehensive array of promotive, preventive and basic curative services including implementation of programs for the control of communicable diseases, maternal and child health and family welfare. Primary Health Center, PHC, there is one PHC for 30,000 population in general areas and one PHC for 20,000 population in difficult, tribal and hilly areas. PHCs provide services like OPD, 24 hours emergency services, referrals, inpatient services, 6 beds, delivery services, basic laboratory services, operation theatre, in some cases, as well as services linked to the national health programs. Some PHCs have 24 hours services for all days of the week, 24/7. PHC provides support for 6 sub-centers and also refers cases to CHC and other district, sub-district level public hospitals. An average PHC consists of the following staff: 2 or 3 physicians, known as medical officers, including a lady medical officer, the medical officer, MO, in overall charge, and possibly one more from one of the indigenous systems of medicine, 1 male and 1 female health assistant, a block extension educator, a laboratory technician and a statistical assistant in addition to the MPWs and other auxiliary staff. Supervision and support to the staff of 6 sub-centers is provided by 1 male and 1 female health assistant, HA. The female health assistant is called Lady Health Visitor, LHV. The supervisory cadre of HAS is expected to provide a link between the sub-center and the next rung in the ladder. The Primary Health Center, PHC. Community Health Center, CHC, this is the secondary level of healthcare NTRE, CHC. T is the secondary level O healthcare providing referral as well as specialist healthcare. CHCs are 30-bedded hospitals. There is one CHC for a population of 120,000 in general areas and one CHC for a population of 80,000 in difficult, tribal and hilly areas. CHC services include OPD and IPD services in several specializations including Ayush, eye specialist services, in 1/5 of the CHCs. Emergency services, laboratory services and services linked to the national health programs. Usually these CHCs are present at community development block level. The patients can be referred to district-level hospitals, medical colleges from these centers. Figure 3.4 explains the whole setup. Look at the screen. 3.6.2 Urban Health Delivery System. The urban areas are served by respective authorities like municipality, corporation. Municipality, corporation. Usually hospitals in different geographical areas are established to serve the needs of the locality. These provide mainly curative services, though preventive and promotive services may also be available. Service delivery in urban areas happens under NUHM through the following: UPHCs, Urban Primary Health Centers. There is one UPHC for about 50,000 population, providing services like OPD clinics, basic lab diagnosis, drug, contraceptive dispensing services as well as distribution of materials for health education and services related to the national health programs. It also provides outreach services through ANMs. UCHCs, Urban Community Health Centers, these are set up in places with population more than 5 lakh. Inpatient care services are provided here. Furthermore, ASHAs are employed under NUHM, and ASHA per 1,000 to 2,500 population, who work as a link between the health facility and the community. 3.7 Summing up. This unit tells you about the various indicators of health that are commonly used to assess the health status of a community. Health being multifaceted, one has to use several indicators to assess it. The health indicators in use are several and have been classified as mortality indicators, morbidity indicators, nutritional status indicators, socioeconomic indicators, and so on. After a brief description of these indicators, the unit goes on to using these indicators to outline the profile of the health situation in India. The salient features of the National Health Policy, the basic concepts in the delivery of healthcare services and the present healthcare delivery infrastructure in our country have also been discussed. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video, with next chapter.